I think. Is it? I can't figure out what the issue was. Oh, it looks like live now anyway. Let's see here. Did I touch anything? Hello everyone and welcome to Jakob haQ Live. I had some weird glitches. I don't know what it was. I've been working my bum off all day so that I could have an episode finished for today. I've been waiting on some stuff that that well I've been getting stuff from other channels, something I requested for a special little thing. So yeah, I was able to finish the episode anyway, and silly me, I started uploading it like 3 hours before the stream, and usually it goes fast, but today it took longer. And then when I was finished with it, uh, I haven't checked it through yet. I'm like watching it on my iPhone to see if everything is okay before I press publish. But I'll have to publish it afterwards so I can check all of it, so that I know that it's okay. But as soon as I was done with that, the my sound interface just stopped working, and I have no idea why. So thank you for joining up, everyone. Today I was gonna try to do something with AUM, setting up like a live session. So what I thought we'd do first is just go over and look over a live session I've already got here, you've seen me do a video on, basically. So this is like the cyberpunk um, music for a cyberpunk movie kind of project that I did here, where I'm basically using the Nano Control Studio to control everything in here, and also the key. And I've got the key over here because the only thing I'm using is. Do we have more technical issues now? There's supposed to be. There's supposed to be something. Come on now, what's going on here now? This is horrible. What a horrible start. But this is great. Let's just see here. Oh, it's all disconnected. Well, that's awesome. Oh. Okay, it's me. It's me. It's my fault. It's my fault. Sorry. Um, I forgot to plug this thing in. So that's a thing that I do sometimes. Let's see if we can get this thing to start. It does. Right. Do we have some sound now? Right. So it looks like we have some stuff, and I saw someone typing Murphy's Law, and yeah, I guess that's about it. Anything that can go wrong goes wrong. Is that Murphy's Law, or am I remembering it incorrectly? As usual, I got a tall glass of well, it kind of looks like wee, but it ain't. So I hope everyone's doing okay today. During all the madness, and it's taking a toll on everyone. Really, I can see that people are getting tired, and a lot of people are just trying to get outside as soon as they can. Uh, and yeah, I think I'm gonna do that too. Just get outside more because someone wrote that as a comment, or a few people wrote that on my one of my previous videos, that Jacob, you're doing mobile stuff and you're never outside, and that's a good point. Some good criticism there. I'm never outside. I don't like being around people, but I do like being outside, so I'm gonna make more of those. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything, everything from MIDI to syncing stuff, or external, internal stuff, AUM stuff like that, then just let me know. We got Mobile Music Pro in the chat. We got Electronic Sounds in the chat. These are also two other YouTube channels, and they're also going to be featured in the video, just waiting for publication right now. So what we have here is basically, I just set up an 8-track session from the beginning, basically made a template inside AUM where I already had stuff like the faders and the panning mapped. and I keep several different types of templates at hand because I like being able to start up quickly. And I do suggest that if there are any beginners watching this, you should really get into doing that. You'll probably notice when you begin that in the beginning you don't really know exactly where to go, what to do. But when you notice that you're going back to the same app over and over and over again, you might just want to start a template and fill it with the most used stuff that you do. If there's something you always map that out. If there's something you always load that up and save it as templates. Save several templates for different things. I have several, and so I basically just loaded an 8-track and then I built it from there. And it's very simple to set up and do these MIDI things in here, because you can either go to like the settings. It's up there in the corner. Let me get this a little bit closer and I can put it back later on. So up there in the corner, is that the window? Up there in the corner we have a menu button, and then you have the MIDI control routing. So you can do a lot in here, like controlling the playback and everything with if you have transport controls, and I do that actually. Um, and if you want to control specific channels, then you can do that by going to the channel you want to do something to, press there, and then go to MIDI sources if you want to choose a specific controller, and then you can choose stuff like, mapping out volume and mute and stuff like that. So every button on this controller here, each and every one of these buttons are mapped to something. So the mutes are mapped to the mute function, solo to solo, recording to the recording ones, because when you record something inside AUM, you have to remember to arm the recording buttons. And whenever I record a big session, I want to have multi-tracks. I want to have all of them, because I usually bring them into Cubasis if I want to keep on working with it, and I want all the tracks. But I do also port every track through a busing system to a main stereo channel where I record the whole mix. And sometimes I have 2 different ones. So I'll load up my favorite compressor and in equalized settings on one channel, effectively kind of mastering it a little bit on one master bus, and then the other one records everything clean, and then I have individual channels being recorded, each and every one as a track, and so I can really pick and choose how I want to do it. So let's take this back a little bit because it's getting annoying that it's in my face. Let's see here. Is there a quantize in AUM? Well, AUM isn't a sequencer, so there's really no quantization option or anything like that. I mean, if you want to deal with MIDI sequencing inside, you have to load MIDI plugins, basically. I mean, this thing you can add MIDI to it, like this, and then you have a MIDI channel, and you can load MIDI plugins and MIDI effect processors and stuff. And so if you have a MIDI sequencer, someone can probably type down in chat the different types of MIDI sequencers that exist that you can use inside AUM. I recently saw something, by the way, regarding that, and I made a snapshot of it because I read it on the iPad Musician group. Any beginners, if you have Facebook accounts, go to the iPad Musician group, have your messaging on, because if you want to join that group, it's a group with 10,000 people or more. If you want to join the group, you have to have your messaging on, because Linda Quenemun, who actually runs that group, she will screen you to see that you're not a bot. Let's see here. Where is it? Someone said something about... It was a video called... Did you see that? If anyone saw that, link to this video in the chat. All AUM users must watch this. I don't know if you can see that. Can you even see that? Can you? The focus is all wrong, but someone said that one, there's an app in there. Why didn't I snapshot the app? I don't even... God, I'll have to get back to that later on. Either way, no. I mean, you can sync AUM, but you're basically just syncing the playback button, and that's it. And then you can sync it with Ableton Live, which I do a lot if I've got tracks running inside here and I've got an extra iPad, for instance, with figure on it or something else. Then I use Ableton Link and I sync it that way. And for any beginners, if you have them synced like that, you can change the tempo on any device, and it will change the tempo for all of the devices when you've got them linked to linked. Okay, Ed, I'm gonna try to find that video later on so I can show you. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so the problem with showing you a project like this is that what should we be looking at here? Because it's so much that I've done, right? And so, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to recreate something like this. And it's not gonna sound like it, but I'm gonna try to recreate it. We can just take a quick listen to this. So let's just pull this down. So on the first channel, basically this one, all this is just, oh, it's showing me an error. Okay, this is just a sound I've got loaded inside Spacecraft, and it's just here to do like an atmospheric effect at first. But as soon as I started fiddling with the with this, I used it as a live effect to add some movement to my track, and you can see that if you watch the original video. It's just called "Music for a Cyberpunk Movie," and that's all I do, just like that. And the only thing on there aren't even any effects on this thing. This here is just a panning option, and I always add panning options for all of my channels in order to map out the panning knob on this MIDI controller here, so that I can pan stuff. And so it's just that. It's just a texture thing that I've added. So I mean, there's really nothing special. The only thing, there's one other thing loaded here, and that is the A bus. All right. So I'm porting the sound from this thing out to the A bus, and the A bus is over here. And on the A bus, I've got EOS 2, so it's a reverb. And I use this as a send reverb for almost all of the channels here, because I want them to go through the same reverb. I want them all to blend together. I think I even might... Am I also sending the bass here? I think I might be doing that. Yep, I'm sending the bass channel there too. So even stuff that usually I wouldn't send to a send channel with a reverb, like bass, because I don't want my reverbs to sound like they're getting muddy from bass. I still send it there because I want this to be muddy. It was perfect for this type of track. So I always set up a send bus, and in this case I'm using two. Both of them have EOS 2 loaded. Only one of them has a Death Eye compressor on there, because I'm sending some kind of high-powered stuff through it. So I don't want to, get some clipping sounds or anything like that. But I use this for. Well, we're gonna look at that. So I mean, it's kind of confusing when you take a look at something like this right from the start. If we check at the second channel, again, it's just a Spacecraft plugin loaded. And by the way, I always map my stuff so that I can open and close my plugins like this. Because the Nano Control Studio has a select button down here in this row. And this select button is perfect for opening and closing plugin windows. And that is a function that only turns up when you have a plugin loaded. So if you're loading plugins and you go into the down here with the channel name, you go to MIDI and you go to parameters, then inside, like reamp here, I'm using reamp just to heat up the bass, reamp from Klevgren Produktion. Well, if you go into it, you can see that it has a function saying show plugin. And that is the thing you need to map. Map that to any toggle button, and you can open and close your windows. It was a Photon AU MIDI recorder. Okay, so that's what it was. Thank you, Sasha, for finding out what plugin it was. I was trying to find that I snapshotted off Facebook. Photon. Okay, I'm gonna look that up because, yeah, someone was really excited about that and AUM and automation. Okay, so the bass is just basically, it's this. That's all it is. It's just me loading a bass sound in there, and then I let Spacecraft do its thing. But it doesn't look like it's playing the right one. Wait. Oh, there we go. I can't remember exactly where I got this bass sound from, but I think I was sampling Thor. Am I seeing this right? It was showing DSP at 109. We have to be careful because we've already had one live stream where I had like a blowout in my ears. Ableton Live is a PC program. Yes, Ableton Live is a PC program. Yes, and Ableton Live, the people who made that, they made the Ableton Link system. And so that one works without Ableton, but it's a part of Ableton, and it's a part of many other apps now, which allows us to just connect so many different pieces of software together wirelessly, which is very, very nice. And it syncs kind of perfectly, kind of. Some apps don't, all right? But I've noticed that they don't sync that perfectly when my iPad is overloaded. So in many cases, I've seen that people will show me a setup and tell me, like, ask me in an email, ask me what's going wrong here, and they don't notice that the DSP is overloading, and that's why syncing and everything just starts being wonky. Either way, so a bass sound from Spacecraft, and then it's just going through an effect chain, and this is the important part here, really, because the first thing I've got here is a Rough Rider 3, and it's great because it's a free plugin from Audio Damage Incorporated, or Audio Damage Inc. And it has sidechain, and AUM is so far the only host that does sidechain. I think there is one more. Another DAW that does not get that much attention, and it's had multi-routing for some time. I remember seeing a post about that on the iPad forum, but I can't remember what the name was. So if anyone else knew, there is definitely some crackling on that bass, but that was the overload from the DSP. I recognize that. So the way I've got it set up is that it's sending out, let's see here. If we look further up in the chain here, we can see that there's another channel where I've got this compressor loaded, but it's not really a compressor. It's just a send for the sidechain. So this channel can you hear that? It's kind of weird, but this is the drum sound, and it's basically just a drum loop loaded inside Spacecraft. and it sounds so messed up. I've got it playing at three different octaves, one by one. So the sequencer is taking care of that. So I get different sounds in my drums. I didn't want a regular drum loop just playing. I wanted something weird and strange. And I now my DSP is overloading again. It's not supposed to do that. It wasn't when I was recording with this session, but the iPad is just becoming slower and slower for some reason. So what this is doing is it's just sending a signal into the compressor on this side, and this compressor is then compressing the sound of the bass. Still overloading. I basically wanted the bass to duck whenever the bass kick hit. That's all it's there for. The next thing after the compressor is just reamp for heating up the sound. You hear that? And then after that, I've got like a high pass filter, and that's because I want to get rid of really low subharmonic sub bass frequencies. And I usually cut stuff below 40. In this case, I've got 47 hertz that I'm cutting off because I don't need that bass for a track like this, and it's just gonna muddy up everything. And there's so much energy in the bass in the lower ends, so that when you're mastering your finished track, that you're sitting and mixing it, so you're spending maybe like I made like maybe 13 sessions, and then I had one that was really good. I wouldn't want it to be overpowered by sub end or by sub bass when I start mastering it, because it's gonna take over the track. 109 DSP sure to add that lovely crackle. Yeah, it's great with all that crackling. By the way, for those of you who are YouTube channels in the chat, thank you again for the stuff that you sent me. Uh, I'll be publishing that episode where that those things are in later on, as soon as I go off stream here. I just want to thank you very much, and I'm sorry that I'm teasing everyone else with this. It's not like I ever troll anyone, right? I don't troll people. That's not me. After that, it's just a panning effect, and then it's the bus again. So I'm sending the bass, as I said, to the bus with EOS2. So it's getting handled by some reverb, and we can easily have a listen to the reverbs. Can you hear that? It is in flight mode. See what I mean? It is in flight mode. I usually have it in flight mode. Yes, I have become a spacecraft addict. The, what Mark Watt did for the iOS music, for my music with spacecraft, is just this kind of the same feeling I got when I like discovered Borderlands Granular and TC11 and also Sampler. And here's the second. You hear that? There's a lot going on there. It's taking in sounds from all of it. So two different types of reverb sounds. And apparently I'm just using the B bus for the drums. No reverb, with reverb. All right. So what did we what did we do? I'm getting I'm getting confused by my setup now. I'm usually very into it, and I've removed my tape because I usually put tape. It's an old mixing trick. I mean, I've done that a lot in the past when doing dub in a studio. That's something I want to talk about, in a future episode, because I get so it's not like I get a huge amount of those comments, but I do get comments from people saying, "Why do you ever work with AUM? I mean, you can't make full tracks with it." And I it might be because when someone comments like that, maybe they've never done it like that, or maybe they don't know about it, or maybe it's just a way of working that doesn't work for them. Because I come from dub. Okay, I come from a dub world where you do dub music, and so you can do it with instruments, you can do it with synthesizers, machines, and you can do it with live bands, and I've done that. And so, as a dubbing mechanic, that I don't know if that's the proper term for it, but the person standing behind the the mixing desk, you're doing a work, and it's you're doing timed work. You're tweaking certain knobs at certain times. You're doing the delay in a special way. You're reaching for just certain equalizer knobs, and then everything is being recorded live. That's a way of making a track. In my case, I do that with AUM. Only my band is spacecraft, as you've all noticed. It's spacecraft or something similar. Because, I mean, I do have videos with Figure, for instance, where I do the same thing. Just several pads, all of them have Figure loaded. And soon I'll be doing a 5 times Figure pad demo, because now I have an extra iPhone 5 because my girlfriend upgraded to an iPhone 6. And so that's nice. I mean, that old iPhone 5 can still run Figure. So there's gonna be 5 pads that I'm doing it, and so I'm doing everything live, and I'm mixing it live with just this thing, and then recording it, and it's a very legit way of making full tracks. That's, I mean, that's how you do it. So I forgot where I'm at again. Noise, bass. I've talked about the drums, but let's see here. This. Oh yeah, it's just a melody. It's just a melody. And it can be heard there in the reverb. So basically, this channel is very straightforward too. I've got a Death Eye, Magic Death Eye compressor. I like this compressor so much because it can do hard work and it can do light work. It can do very slow release times and very slow attack times, meaning I can put this and set this compressor in any way I want to work exactly the way I want. It's such a good compressor. I just love how it works. It's perfect for anything I do. I use it for vocals, I use it for drums, I use it for long drone sounds, and when I do long drone sounds that, over time expand and become bigger, I just use some really, really, really slow release times and attack times, and everything just it just keeps everything in check. I just love working like that. Right beneath that, again, just a low pass filter, but here I'm filtering off quite a lot. Listen to this. Hear that? There's so much of the low end back. Because I was filtering off about like 400 hertz and down of the low end, because I just wanted that light sound from it. And then I'm just sending it through bus A to the reverb, just a send effect. So it's very, very straightforward what I do. I mean, if you think about it, instrument, compressor, maybe a sidechain compressor, filter, uh, panning, and then a bus. It's the same with all of these. The next one, which is the drum, Death Eye compressor, and then the sidechain control for the bass, so that the drums duck the bass, and then it's a low pass filter again, and then it's panning, and then it's to bus B because I wanted a different reverb on there. Just to remind you. And then we got this one. You see, I wanted something that sounded like a weird violin, and I think that this does. It's just, it sounds like a very, very messed up violin. Alright, so what do I have on here to make this sound like this? Well, it's a spacecraft. Is anyone like surprised by that? Okay, let me play. Let me disconnect some stuff here. And let me take a higher pitch. It's the voice of a woman. And then I'm playing it at a low pitch. And then I'm just sequencing it in a speed that I thought would work for this. And then what I'm doing is I'm actually sending it through Magic Death Eye again, and I'm also using a filter, just a filter to remove some of the area around 300 hertz because it had a tone around there that I really didn't like in the voice, especially when I pitched it down. So around 300 hertz, I'm just removing that. But the effect that comes afterwards is an effect by it's an effect by Brambos. It's Scatterbrain. All right? And what it does is it cuts up the audio. So I'm getting stutters. And now I have a very weird violin sounding kind of thing. And then I'm just sending it through an effect bus, and then I've got a panning down there. It's a very, very simple setup for this channel. This looks more complex than it really is. Sounds like cyborgs having an orgy. That's great. Thanks for that imagery. I really needed that. I felt like I needed it. I've been longing for something like that. That's a good one though. Lastly, there's just one channel left because the other two are basically the sound effects, and then there are the recording channels that I talked about. And the last one is Shockwave. It's a synthesizer made by Kai Aras, and it is chock full, with sounds made by yours truly. And and on the App Store, there's someone. What was it they said? I can't remember now. Okay, if I remember it, I'll tell you what it was. It wasn't in the Swedish App Store, but it was something funny written about it. I think there's someone that doesn't like my channel very much. And so the only thing I've done here basically is, if you look at this, there's a send bus for the reverb, a panning thing, like I always put there, and then there is the Death Eye compressor once again. Just keeping it in check with some slow attack and release times, because it's not drony, this sound. It's a very dissonant sound, perfect for this type of music, but I just needed to keep it in check, and that's all it is. Everything here is really, really straightforward. Compressor, filter, send bus, panning. Compressor, filter, send bus, panning. All of them the same. So a lot of people will look at this, if they don't know exactly what it is, it looks really complex. It's really not. I mean, I'm using the same same stuff all over the place. And so the only thing I've done is that I'm sending the MIDI from the nano key over here to Shockwave, and that's it. That's the only thing I'm doing in the video too, if you watch it. I just love dissonant sounds, especially when working with music that does, that are like soundscape stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna look at this now. Where are we? Okay, so we're 37 minutes in. I'm making a mental note. 37 minutes in. 30, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna make a timestamp, and then I'm gonna write. We're building it. We're building something from scratch. So what I'm gonna do is unload this. If you have any questions about this, I'll have to look, because you'll have to write them in there. I've probably missed a lot of stuff. I mean, I've missed some really good stuff here. There's one from Samuel Lindemann. He writes, "Sounds more like a tortured animal." That's a great comment, by the way. I love that. There's something else here. Jahak, that's something you could call me. You could call me mother. You could call me mother. That's also something you could call me. I'm a guitar player and I love spacecraft. Someone is trying to. Is that a spell? No? That's a question. All right. So let's build something from scratch. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna look in my files and I'm gonna look for an 8-channel something MIDI. So we need to find my where are my sorry I hit that thing there. Where are my MIDI? I hit it again. I keep hitting it. Where's my MIDI stuff? This is a problem. When you do make a lot of presets, it starts getting a little bit, it starts getting hard to find stuff in here. Yeah, it's getting glitchy, this thing. Oh, everything turned off. No, come on. Is it back? I don't like these connections, okay? I've cleaned this out. Like every day I clean it out to make sure there's no lint in there, and it's getting worse. You know, if the port goes bad on this thing, I do not want to open up this thing. I mean, I've already done it on this, and it was horrible. And I still have to change out the headphone port on this one. I've gotten the parts for it. I don't know if you remember, but I talked about that some time ago. I got the parts. I just haven't taken the courage to do it. Where do we have the MIDI stuff? Okay, let's do it simple then, and let's do it from scratch. We're just gonna add an audio track, an audio track, and an audio track. So let's make a 3-track track or something like that. So I'm gonna load an instrument that I like using. You might know of it. It's actually an instrument I found some time ago. It's called Spacecraft. I like it because it's got some nice colors in there, and it's very easy to work with. So we're gonna do this simple now. Okay, so there we have something. Now I want to be able to control this thing directly, so I'm gonna do that. I'm I'm just gonna go to here and down there, MIDI sources, and then I'm gonna wait. Why are those red? Is that a bug? Because it looks as if everything is connected. I think it is connected, but still. Nano Control Studio. It disappeared? Okay. That has to be a bug, right? Did you see that? I had some glitched out Nano Control Studio connection. Never mind. So we've chosen that controller anyway, and I want to control the volume right there. So here we're controlling the volume. There we go. And hello everyone that is saying hello to me in chat. Good evening, Mitch. Got the audio dabbler in the stream. Alright, so we've got that set up. Let's set up the mute. Just tap that and tap learn and mute and then solo and then learn and then solo and then record enable and then learn and then record. Nice. Okay, I also want to bring up the plugin whenever I want, and I've got a select button left here so we can find the spacecraft. Don't do that. Don't do that, Jacob. Don't do that. Parameter tree, preset, no, show plugin, learn, select. Nice, and now I can open it up whenever I want to, like that. Good, so we've got one channel set up. What else do we need? Oh, well, we need another instrument here. And for this track, I'm thinking something else that I could, something versatile that I can do a lot with. I'm thinking, maybe you know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking an audio unit extension, and I'm thinking spacecraft. Spacecraft is just amazing that way because you can do so much with it. So we're going to do that. We're going to do something with it. All right, let's open it up. And we go down. I like the factory stuff that is in here because Mark has already put some really nice stuff in there. It just sounds good right out of the package. But for this one, well, we're gonna need to make sure that, okay, so that's selected. We got the volume. Oh, the volume is already set up. No, it's not. Oh, come on now. What's going on here? There we go. Volume set up. And let's set up the rest of the stuff to just go to mute and then go to learn, mute, solo, learn, solo, record enable, learn, record enable. And then of course we go into the parameter tree, if we can find that, for spacecraft, and show plugin, and then learn, and then select. And now we have the second one. Alright, so we want this to sound interesting in some way, so we're gonna do something at least. Hi Dave. Hi everyone. Dave, are you out trucking? Drive safely, man. I hope you're not driving and looking at this stream at the same time. Alright, so there we go. I can mute this. As you can see, when I'm pressing here, something happens over there. Yeah, I know it's far away. I know it's far away, but yeah. So what do we do now? Well, we're gonna set up a little ascend channel. So we're gonna load up bus send A for both of these, and we're gonna load up bus A over here. There we go. And I want to be able to control the bus end. And we do that by going in here, and we'll set it up at the third channel. Why not? There we go. Now we can control that too. Great. And again, I mean, how interesting is this? Someone asked me actually to do this, but is it really interesting watching me just map stuff I think it might get very dull after a while. That's why we're just gonna do a few of these because wow. Right. Okay. So now we can mute and solo and stuff if we want, which is great, I think. And let's add some nice effects to this because I mean we have a send channel and we don't have any effects in there. And let's use something like yeah, I'll just load ES2. It's a good reverb. Up with the tail, the mix to 100% because I don't want the direct signal. I just want the that I just want the wet reverb. And another thing we're gonna do is, since this is a send channel, I'm gonna double tap here and I'm gonna add a filter. So we're gonna add a filter, low cut, no, a high pass one because we want to remove some bass. I'll place it before the reverb so we can cut the bass off before it goes into the reverb, and then set it up to about 400 hertz. See? And now we have some movement here. And now we come to the next point, because whatever we want to do with our instruments here, we have to think about the fact that we have some send buses here now. And so where do we place our effects? Because we can get some really interesting results depending on if we're placing them before the send bus or after the send bus. So let's say you wanted one of these to stutter by using something like scatterbrain, like the first one here. It's already stuttering, but we can make it stutter more with a scatterbrain. Now if we place it after the bus, then the sound is going to come clean into the reverb without the scatter effect on it. But if we place the scatter effect before it, so let's just try it out and see what happens. So audio unit extension and scatterbrain. Scatterbrain. I like that name. I'm placing it before now. Okay, let me place it afterwards. So I've got it placed afterwards, meaning it doesn't go through the send bus. The audio is coming from spacecraft clean, and so the reverb is still gonna be okay. But if we change position, there's a bit more chaos in there. It's almost inaudible. So let's just pull down on the decay. Make a short, small room. Okay, I kind of like that chaos. Sounds like the neutrons firing in my my head. You can hear that? Man, I would want to hear what that sounds like. Okay, I kind of like the chaos it brings. So we're gonna make this do this swashing sound. Just add more decay. Okay, so we got something interesting going on here. And then we have this sound. What do we do with this? Neurons. Neutrons? Oh, of course, neurons. It's called neurons. Brain neurons? Neutron brain. I wonder what a neutron brain would look like. I really don't know what to do with this, but it would be cool to add like a Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna add a reverb to it. A reverb I talked about quite recently. The one with the interesting long tail. Stratosphere Cloud Reverb. Do a short decay time. And long onset time. Okay, that sounds very interesting. That sounds extremely interesting. Let's put down the pitch of this. Now what does that reverb sound like? Uncle Tom, if I add Myrek to this, I will sit here all day. But you know what? I will make a Myrek live stream where we just build the crazy, just a crazy patch, basically. While sitting and listening to this, I realized that I don't have anything inspiring me right now with it, because right now it's just a sound mat. So I need to add some kind of element that gives me just a steady beat. And so let's try adding please don't hate me, another track with spacecraft, but we're gonna load up a drum into it and just make something interesting with that. So audio unit, spacecraft. And no, let's not do it like that. Let's keep it like that, because right now I've got the reverb there, and so this one will be for that channel. So first we set up the volume, learn, there we go, mute, learn, the solo, learn, record enable, learn. Very simple stuff. Alright, good, now we have that. And in here we're gonna import a sound. Now what will that sound be? Let's do a drum. It's the same drum that I'm using for the other track. It sounds insane. This is, it's just too much, too much. So it's not that steady, but there is a beat in there. It sounds weird, but it's there, okay? We've got a beat in there. It might not fit this right now, but we're gonna use it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this channel duck from that. So let's load Rough Rider. Could you make the sound a little bit louder? Yeah, I can, actually. Let's see. Is that louder? Is that good? Can y'all hear that? Sorry. I hope you can hear that. I'm sorry if it's too low. I'm scared of overloading everything. Ever since we had that crash with Cubase's, I've been a little bit wary with the volume. I usually try to ride the volume a little bit more. Let's see now. I was gonna load something here. Yeah. So audio unit and Rough Rider 3, and this one is an audio unit multi in and out, and so in order to send the channel, send the signal from this channel with the drum on it, so that we can duck this channel, we just need to load. Let's see here. Where is it? Multibus audio unit instances, and there we go. Scatterbrain also has multi routing, by the way. Rough Rider 3 right there, and now we're sending it. So now it's getting it right. Is it? Yeah. On. Let's see here. It sounds weird, I know. It sounds so chaotic. It's just too chaotic. This is the problem with me live streaming. I never get anything good out of it. Well, sometimes there's at least something that sounds good. Let's just try to change the sound over here, because it just sounds awful right now. Scatterbrain is not working for me right now. We remove Scatterbrain. Okay. Oh, this is... It's killing me. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. This is so chaotic. I can't deal with this. This is no good. It sounds awful. You know, it's okay, chat, to tell me it sounds bad. It sounds really bad. Jacob, what are you doing? This sounds awful. Absolutely awful. And, you know, I agree with you if that's what you think. Type in chat. This track is shit. Now, we could just replace everything, but I just feel like starting over, not completely over and over, but starting over with the music material we got in here. I mean, we can keep this. This is so generic that we can keep this. Right? It can be used for anything. So let's do a little let's do something with beats. Let's load a completely different plugin. Unload this. Audio unit. We go to pure acid. Come on. Oh, it sounds so sweet. Let's see here. We go to the drums. I turn off the drums. Are they off? Okay. No. Are they? Okay. So let's just let it do its thing. Hey, we got new tricks in the chat. download this one. Alright, so we're starting to get something going at least. I just need to map this thing out. It's so much straightforward just to load these types of plugin and then just start letting them do their thing and then work from there. I do sit like this a lot, and especially during really late nights when I'm tired. I've been working all day and my voice is shot to hell. I just I just do this, and I'm an old, what do you call it, like an acid head. So doing stuff like this all night is just that's just I'm sure that there's some of you that know exactly what I mean. Everything starts with a 303. Yeah, definitely. Everything starts with a 303. Everything ends with a 303 too. Let's see here. Do I have the volume mapped? Okay, good. What is this turning into right now? What is this turning into? What am I doing? This is what happens as soon as I can't do music live because I just forget about everything. I forgot that I was on a live stream right now. It's just, uh, this is horrible. It's so hard for me to do these things. Actually, it's really hard. I either do tutorials or I do music, and trying to do like both at the same time. I can do it in an edited video, but during a live stream, it's just incredibly hard for me. I really don't know where to go with this further. It's easier for me to put, yeah, maybe it is easier for me to put together a video where I show like step by step exactly what I do with things. But the fact is that whenever I build one of these things, they look the same in what I've already shown with the compressor and the filter and everything. Those are my essential things. I need two send channels for two different effects or the same effect in tweaked different ways. And then I need compressors and I need equalizers or filters, and that's it. That's pretty much it. There are sometimes I do these intricate setups with like scatterbrain for instance or other things, but I try to keep all of my setups as straightforward as possible, and if I can, I usually try to place stuff in the same order also when I do these live things, and they all happen organically. It's like now when I'm sitting and thinking about what I'm supposed to do, it doesn't happen for me because whenever I'm working with it, that's when it happens. It would be easier just turning on stream without saying a word and starting to build and then stream that for whatever how long it takes, 8 hours or something, and just have it stream and you would see everything I do and you would see that the process is pretty much the same. It's kind of what we've been doing today, but it doesn't sound bad. That's what I'm trying to say. How do you record the result if you want to keep it? Well, since I'm working in AUM, I just trigger like I already have all of the recording functions fixed. Nutrix, you've got this thing too. You got the nano control. So if I why isn't it working now? Oh, yeah. I just toggle the recording of all the things here, as you can see. You can see the recording there when I push here. I just turn on the recording for every damn track, every track. So all of the individual tracks I turn on, and then I have two channels, one with usually some mastering compressors on, and another one clean, where I'm porting everything out through buzzing, so that I can get one stereo recording of the mix clean, one stereo recording of the mix kind of AUM mastered. If I want to be, if the result is good, I'll use it directly for a video or something. And I also get each of the channels individually recorded. I don't go so far as to like port them out cleanly pre-effects to get another 8 channels. I just record all the channels separately, so all of the channels gets recorded, and then if I'm not happy with the final mix that I'm doing at the end, I bring all of these recordings into Cubase's and I'll start mixing or maybe cutting something up. I almost never do that unless it's for an album. I almost never do that. All of the music in any of my videos, and I'm not talking about just the live. I have a playlist called Music and Live Performances. Um, I'm not talking about just those. All of the music made this way for any of my videos, none of them have been like edited afterwards in any other way other than mixed. It's not like I go in and cut stuff if I make a mistake. I make sure that I get a good take, and that's what I use. I know a lot of people, they would just tell me, Jacob, start editing it, just cut it. You're wasting time. But no, it's not about that, because for me it's always been about the performance thing too, and you kind of need to practice, and it's the only time I do that. I never go into practice because of the practicing. I don't start practicing because I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna practice now. No, practice happens because I'm trying to get a good take when I want to record something. That's basically it. I need some kind of an incentive, and my incentive is the finished product. I need to make myself a product, and that's when I'm practicing. So it's all recorded in AUM, and I don't do these type of live things in any other apps because none of them fit my workflow the way that AUM does. So that's basically it. I would watch the live stream performance any day. Yeah, at some point I will do one of those really long live streams, me just producing a track and me just making a performance uh, setup, something that will be used for a video, so you can see the whole process. And it's gonna be so boring because it's just gonna be a camera on for hours and hours and hours. And this sweaty dude here, because it's pretty hot in Sweden. I'm just gonna sweat. So I really don't know if did you get anything from this? I know a lot of you already know a lot of these things because you're AUM users yourself. But are there anyone that felt that they learned anything from this? I mean, I feel like I've been making mostly bad music today. I don't feel like I've accomplished anything musically, but hopefully I've been able to, inspire something. That's the most important thing, I think. And of course, chatting with you every Wednesday is why I'm doing it. These live streams anyway. So even if it sounds bad, it doesn't really matter that much. To be quite honest, as long as you're you're having fun. And today is good because as soon as I've stopped streaming, I'm gonna. My voice is already bad. As soon as I've stopped streaming, I'll press publish on my main channel because I have a video waiting there with some very special guests in it. And some of those guests are in this stream, and I'm so grateful that you all decided to join up. It's a rowdy group. Rowdy? Is that the? I don't know. Rowdy? Rowdy? Should I Google? Am I saying something? I, am I saying something bad? Am I saying a profanity? Is it a profanity? Rowdy? Is that a profanity? Chat. I I have to look it up. It inspired me to use more spacecraft. Bring it ASAP. Yeah, I wanna show you some of my real routines because I've played live in the past, and I still have some songs that I remember how to do, and I could probably use a set of 8 pure acids and then MIDI controllers. I'm not sure if I have enough MIDI controllers to run it, and I'm not sure if pure acid gives me enough control to do it, but I'll try and make one of those old school rave things that I've done, in like forest parties and break-in raves as we call it, which I've never done. Of course, I've never broken into an old factory complex that no one uses to set up a rave. That's never happened before. But if it did happen, it I'm sure it was a lot of fun, and I'm sure there were a lot of people there, dancing and having fun, and it sounds like a great place to play some music at. But it's not. I mean, it's illegal, so don't do that. Don't break into people's factories and have music parties, even though it sounds really awesome. You really shouldn't do that. Right. I think I need some water. I don't know if my girlfriend is watching this. Hey babe, if you're watching this, if you're hearing me, could you bring me some water? Uh, I don't want to leave stream. I love you very much, and I hope uh, that this request is okay. And if you're not hearing me, that's okay too. But I'm very very thirsty. I might dry out. I can feel myself pruning up here, like my hands are pruning. Can you say that? That your hands are pruning? That's probably not the right term for it, right? You could use the Nurak MIDI out to create your own AUM on-screen mixer. You just gave me an idea. Yeah, you probably could. Paul the Music Man. The updates he's done to Nurak is just insane. I mean, I complain about the fact that it didn't have any way of getting setting up what do you call it, a feedback loop. and he put that in the next update. He put that in. He just put that in there. He saw what I said. He watched the stream apparently, and then he commented on the video, and then he did that. And he also added a vocoder module, which is awesome. So yeah, that's cool. I've used two 303s and an 808 and played a party for 6 hours instead of spinning records. Yeah, I mean those are the best. Bring Jakob a cold beer, please. Drugs were good. Yeah, I'm completely off the drugs and the alcohol, and have been that for well ever since I started Hack Attack. So I'm good, but I've been there. I've really been there. I've really been there, and it was fun when I was young, but you know, you you kind of have to stop some at some point. At least I did, because I kept doing it. When everyone else stopped doing it and started, taking responsibility for their lives, I just kept doing it and didn't take any responsibility, and I just turned up into a messy lump of shittiness, and that was that basically. But I still have good fond memories of all those parties and stuff. You know what, Chad? I think I'm done with this thing. I'm done, and you can always. So I'm not gonna do this anymore. We can chat about whatever. Right now, if there's anything new in the music world, if there's anything new you've heard about, feel free to drop a comment down there, so we can talk about it. Buttons and pads. Oh, that's awesome. Better to have music as your addiction. I do agree with that. And stopping drinking leaves more money for hardware. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of hardware in my life, but then I got to a point where I sold it in order to buy stuff I really didn't need. Um, you you could say that about music gear stuff, buying stuff that you really don't need, but I'm talking about something completely different here. But I used to have a lot of stuff. But one of the things I really miss it. I've had it. I've owned it 4 times. No, 3 times. It's the Yamaha ANX, AN1X. I really miss it, but I found a replacement, something that could sound like it, and it's this thing here that you can't see right now. Wait, this thing right here, right here, the Mininova. Not only is the Mininova blue and plastic like the Yamaha AN1X, it also has an engine that can really sound like it because of the syncing options and the PVM, and there's so much you can do with it. It's an insane synth. I haven't actually touched this for a while now, ever since I remodeled the studio, because I've mostly been working with smaller stuff like pocket operators. The OPC has been like going hot since I got it in here, and also a lot of apps that I'm trying to just discover right now, because there's been a lot of apps coming out, and it's been hard. It's been really hard to get a grip of all of them. Many effect apps, not that many synthesizer apps. Bliss did release one that I want to go through. I really want to go through that. But when it came out, I was so into the sampler video and stuff that I was working on. And right now, I got another big video that I'm working on, and it's not going to be finished for quite some time. That's why I'm trying to do these shorter videos like I normally do in between. And so the one coming out today, later today, it is a shorter one, about 13 minutes or something like that. And it's about a type of effect that usually don't get any love. Not a lot of people are interested in it, and I was hoping to change that. So I'm walking a thin line here, because I yeah, it's hard. Maybe no one wants to watch it. Blue check, plastic check. I used to have Innovation K Station. Real nice compact synth. Alpha Bliss, really powerful. Nutrix, you've probably, everyone has probably already reviewed that one, right? I don't know what to add. Sometimes with some apps, I'm sure that other creators feel this too, that sometimes an app has been so covered by everyone that you feel like you can't really add anything, and yet your viewers will ask you for it. And so I just feel like, what do I do in those cases? There's a lot of apps like that that I'm struggling with at the moment, and I'm sure that a lot of other content creators are thinking the same thing. But my friends always tell me that, well, if your viewers are asking for it, then you should probably do it, right? And yeah, they're right. I should probably do it. Let's free this thing. You know what? I'm gonna do something here. So I hope I have nothing secret that I can't show you here. I've already deleted all of those things before stream. There's something. I've been teasing and teasing, and I have to delete it before every stream. Every Wednesday I go and delete this thing because I can't show it to you yet. Let's see here. Someone was talking about, cleaning RAM. I've been using this thing. It's called iDoctor device. So it can clean like your disk and memory, and I'm gonna do that right now. Memory lies at 136, and that looks kind of normal for my iPad, but it's probably gonna free a few. I know it's on the side. I hate apps that don't do landscape. Oh, it cleaned out 1.5 GB of RAM. Oh, that's quite a lot. Really? That much? Well, that's clean now. Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. If loop pop covers it, you might as well just play it and have fun. Yeah, but that's the thing. A lot of people, a, a lot of content creators out there, they all have different ways of doing it. Loop pop is very close to, or I am very close to. We're very close to each other when it comes to going deep down into how some stuff works. He goes over it quite. He can do it quite quickly. He's really good at that, and he goes over it and he dives deep into it and he shows you all of the functionalities. The way that I do it is a bit different because I try to mix it up quite a lot. And one, like a good example is my one of my pocket operator videos, like PO33, the one I did for that. It's a 45-minute one, and if you look at a loop pop video 45 minutes, it's gonna be mostly filled with how this thing works. And when you look at my video, it's how this thing works mixed together with some demos and some other stuff in between. It's even more of a show like. And some people don't like shows, they rather watch loop pop, and some people don't like loop pop, they rather watch shows, and some people just want people playing presets. And so that's also a good enough reason to make videos. If you're making it different than anyone else, then it's a good reason for doing it, because all of the types of videos are needed out there. And I watch loop pop too, because I want to discover all of these things, inside a thing. And he does it. He covers it really, really well, and that's why I like his videos, because it's always, cut and dry with his stuff. But I also watch a lot of beat makers, like there's a lot of people making OPC tutorials right now, because I've been looking into doing that, and I have my way of doing it, and everyone else has other ways of doing it. There's a guy doing a lot of OPC videos, and he goes over everything so quickly that I almost have no time to really process it. And I'm quite good with these things, but it's too fast for me. But if you look at the chat, you'll see that people really love that stuff. And so you see, there's an audience for every kind of content creator. So even if 100 content creators makes the video about the same thing, they might do it differently, so they're still needed. Not charging? Why are you not charging? Ugh, that sound is horrible. Do you still have Xenon? No, not on this thing. I think it's on this iPad, because that's the iPad Mini 1, but none of my other devices have it. But I still have Argon here, and it still works. And these are my old sounds that I made. All of those sounds can be downloaded from my videos. Oh God, now it's really messing up here. What the? I'm gonna have to look at this thing again and see if the connections are maybe a bit jiggy or something. Maybe I need a new dongle. I've been using this dongle for quite some time. Memory and disk is also a nice app for purging RAM and cleaning cache. Let's check that out. Just wanna see here. App Store, memory and disk. Is that Wi-Fi? Come on. Innovation Chaos Rack. Yeah, the MIDI setup, Healing Heart. I do have videos on how to do the MIDI in AUM. It's called AUM MIDI something. If you just go to my channel, you can find a playlist for all of the AUM tutorials, and you can probably find them if you just Google, if you just search on YouTube, Hack Attack, and then AUM MIDI. You'll find them, and they're very straightforward on how you set up stuff, and all you need to do is copy what I'm doing with one control, and you can do it with everything else. It's a very straightforward technique when you get into it. It's just trying to find exactly what it is you want to map, and many times you don't know until you start working with whatever project you're working with. It's that for me too. Even though I do this so much, sometimes I really don't know what it is I want to map. I just know that I want to map the faders and the buttons, and I want this to work like a mixing desk. So volume, pan, and then mute, solo, record, stuff like that. Okay, mixing desks usually don't have a recording button or a select button unless it's a digital mixer board, a mixing desk. Okay, it was called RAM, and what was it called? Ramen, memory and disk, memory and disk, memory. Do you write it like that? Disk. Um, am I writing it correctly? Ed? Does it work the same on a keyboard type controller? Yes, 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 yes. Healing Heart. Okay, so basically, what you are doing when you're mapping controllers is you're mapping a type of message coming through MIDI. Okay, MIDI can send different types of messages. It can send note data coming from a keyboard, for instance. That's note data, and then it can send CC data and coming from and these are values being sent from faders, from buttons, from knobs, and it's a number going from 0 to 107, and that's telling you how strong the signal is. Basically 0 is no signal, and up is the highest amount. And so when you're turning a knob, you're going from 0 up to 128 basically, or 127, because the 0 is also 1. Okay, either way. And then each of these have a number, and you can usually assign a number to them. So that's all you're doing. You're telling the software to listen to a certain number coming from the controller. So if you're using a MIDI controller, a MIDI keyboard, a pad controller, all you need to understand is what's sending what. Faders, buttons, and knobs are usually sending CC data. That's control data, and that's what you use for controlling faders and buttons and stuff like that. And when it comes to pad controllers and keyboards, then those are usually sending note data. Pad controllers can also send CC data if you set them to that. Usually you have to download an app or something and then go into the configuration and choose it yourself. I think I have made episodes about that too, but that's the only thing, because I see that from a lot of beginners. They want to know how to do the same stuff, like It's the same no matter what type of controller you're using. You just have to figure out if you're using note data or CC data. And CC data is made for controlling stuff like faders and knobs and buttons. Like these buttons here, they also sit on a number. What is this? Okay. And they send out a value, and they can be set to different ways, toggling and momentary. If it's momentary, you press it down and you hold it, and it sends out its largest value. And then when you let go of it, it just turns it down to the lowest value. So if you got a mute button connected like that with a momentary button, then it's muted only when you hold it down, and then when you release it, it unmutes. If it's toggle, then you press it once and it holds that mute. Press it again, it unmutes it. It's just CC data. You're just sending values, numbers. Disk versus disk. Still don't know the difference. Disk versus disk. Disk and disk. 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 Mapping Scotland. What's happening in the chat here? What's happening? Who's mapping Scotland? Why are we mapping Scotland? I'll get a pad controller. Yeah, I've actually got a pad controller over here. Let me see. So I've got right now I'm using an iRig pads, basically. I bought this a very long time ago, and I've got several different presets on it actually. So when I load one preset, it's sending out note data like a keyboard and no CC data on all of these pads. And I've actually got it set up with the configurating software. So I've got scales in here. So I've got a setup where I have two Arabic scales in two different octaves that I can play on this. And then with another setup, I've set all of these to CC numbers, and they basically work like muting buttons, turning on and off mutes. And I got it working like that. I have one configuration where I'm using the same CC number on all of these pads, but I've set it so each of the pads, they send out data on the same number. However, they send out at different strengths. So the highest strength is here, the lowest strength is here. I can't remember what it was for exactly, but I can't remember what it's for. But if you would connect that to a fader, then if you press something in the middle, the fader would go to the middle. If you press up, it would go to the highest. If you press here, it would go to the lowest. You can do a lot with MIDI when you know how it works, and it's really a straightforward system once you get your head around it. And I do suggest you check my MIDI videos. Even if you watch MIDI videos for something, for another app or anything like that, you'll just work that concept into your head, and what it is, what you need to look for, what you need to find. Yeah, you can set the presets. They're all configurable. Like you can do so much, and most MIDI controllers really will allow you to do that. Especially like pad controllers will allow you to do a lot of stuff. Tons of weird visuals. Ologarb Jexus does some crazy synth demos with no explanation and tons of weird visuals, like those for late night viewing. Yeah, there are so many different types of channels out there. Memory and disks. But I see remove the older app that I use, and it's now called Memory and Disk Scanner. Okay, Memory and Disk Scanner. Right. You're probably good with the eye doctor. Same developer. Oh, okay. Hi, Jacob. Any thoughts on Apple Silicon? Yeah, we had a lot of thoughts on it. Actually, we did like a live stream 3 weeks ago where we talked only about that. You can find that in the playlist if you want to go back and check it out. But basically, what I've been doing is I've been talking to developers, and one thing we're asking ourselves probably when we heard that Apple were gonna in, make their own chip, basically their own processor, and since it's gonna be like you're basically turning the MacBook into an iPad, kind of. Then the first question was, are all of the apps now going to be available there? The answer to that is probably not, most likely not, because it's an extra step that the developers have to go through in order to make their apps available there. And if they want to sell stuff on desktop right now, they can do that without going through Apple's system, because when they do that, I mean, they're already giving away 30% through the App Store, and whether that's worth it or not can be discussed. And there are some good points versus, we can get into that, but if they do that on desktop now and start porting it over like that, they're going to do that extra work, and then there's another store that they're going through Apple's system again, and they don't really have to. So we don't really know, but it doesn't look like it. Any developer I've talked about this, they've told me that they're not that interested yet, and I think it's too early. I mean, these things aren't even out yet. There's going to be developer kits out for developers, basically, and so it's too early to tell. My own thoughts about it, I just think it's too early to really decide whether it's good or bad. I don't think it's going to be bad necessarily. I don't know if it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good, especially with some of the ways that Apple are implementing coding and helping developers with code on MacBook. Through, what is it, like Swift or something, right? Interesting times ahead. Don't know what's going to happen with prices, because that's another thing. If, let's say, developers start selling iOS apps on the desktop, and I mean, that's going to be weird for a lot of developers, because if you buy stuff on desktop now, it costs more. Like something like FabFilter. If you buy one of their plugins, you the price of one plugin, if you pay that price on iOS, you're getting 7 of their plugins, and they're basically the same. It's just that you're not able to use the sidechaining functions in many of them unless you're using AUM, because AUM is the only one that has a system that implements an audio unit in and out system, and through that you can use the sidechaining functions for any of their plugins. But in something like Cubase or Cubasis, or any other DAW, you can't. And that's a big drawback on the iOS platform, actually. And I hope they fix that. I hope they get in on that soon. Developers start implementing that. So hard to know. That's really all I can say about it. A lot more was said during the live stream. So if you check on this channel, my second channel, and go back and look, it's there. And I think I've timestamped it, so you won't have to go through weird stuff. You can check it out, what we're talking about. We're talking about sustainability and everything. I look too, still can't get my head around CC stuff. Maybe I should do a basic MIDI basic video. I'll do a MIDI basic video. I'll write that up. Because if y'all been watching my channel for so long and you don't know this, I need to do something about that. If that's what you want help with, that's a problem that I can solve for you. That's awesome. That gives me an idea for a video that I don't have to search for when I don't have ideas that I can do, or videos that take too long. Something like this doesn't take that long. See here, MIDI basic. Note CC data. There we go. It's all written into my videos list of videos that I need to do. In the case of Eventide, it's exactly the same code in the iOS and macOS plugins. Yeah, and that will be weird, right? If you could if you end up in a if you end up in a place where you can load any iOS plugins on the MacBook, it, it becomes weird with the pricing. And I don't know what they're gonna do. Do I think that we're gonna see higher prices in the future for apps? Yeah, I do think that we're gonna see that. And let me say this: I'd rather see developers increase prices than seeing most of them just implement a subscription model, because I just do not want to sit and subscribe to 300 different things. I'm I'm I've removed so many subscription things in my life already because I didn't really know what everything was going to, and I'm getting kind of fed up with the microtransactions. I'd rather just pay for something straight up, and I'll pay for updates. I'll do that. I'd rather do that than subscribe. Um, I don't know. It all depends on what it is, and I don't really have the best argument for whether, what I'm subscribed to or what I'm not subscribed to, what I want to subscribe to. It's just that I don't know. I mean, some would say that, but if you're using something like Cubasis all the time, why wouldn't you subscribe to that? Uh, I would if it worked all the time. I would. There's an expected price increment, mostly to laws in different countries. Sorry, I took up way much space. No, 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 no. Thanks, Jacob. I'll check the stream. Hoping at least Logic could read iOS apps. Yeah, Logic. Let's see what happens with that. You know, Logic. So many people want Logic for iOS. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure. I was certain it would not happen before they introduced this thing with the ARM processor. But in the future, all of their products are gonna be the same. They're basically selling the iPad as a laptop. There's nothing going around that. It's there on its super expensive stand. I mean, I know there's technology in it, but come on, for a stand, it's pretty pricey, right? So they sell it with the, the product picture of the iPad is on the stand with the keyboard and the pen on there. So it's basically a laptop with a touchscreen, detachable keyboard. That's it. It's kind of like what Microsoft did with their tablet. Their thing also had like this kind of like a personality identity crisis. It doesn't know if it's a computer, regular desktop computer, or if it's a touch interface thing. Motion 5 on the iPad. So many apps with the little B. I think I've missed too many comments here. I'm not getting the references. Did you decide on an iPad model yet? Sorry if I missed the earlier answers. Joey, I'll call you Joey because it's like a Joe Y. So Joey. Yes, yes. The chat helped me decide because it was rather unexpected, but we sat and talked about it, in the last stream, and then people inside this chat rooms, some of them people are already here, started donating money to my PayPal account to help with me saving up for an iPad. And they told me that they weren't donating to me because I'm going to buy like an 11-inch pad, so it has to be the 12.9 because that's the one I wanted. So it's gonna be a 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And some people said wait for the new model. I'm not going to do that. I'm right now I'm saving up for the third gen, the one that came out this year. That's the one I'm saving up for. And so far, I also promised I'll show you how much people had donated for that. I'm gonna engrave that iPad. I'm gonna engrave it so that it displays that it's something along the lines of by the grace of the iOS music community. If that can fit there, that's what I will engrave it, because I really didn't expect that those donations, and I'm really really grateful for it. So I think the at least the engraving should reflect that on that iPad. And let's see here. I'm just gonna log in. I don't want to show you my password. Can you see my password? I hope you can't see my password. I almost read it out loud. That would have been. That's not good. That's not good. Not that I don't trust my chat, but you never know who might watch it afterwards. It might be Tim Apple. He loves my money. He loves my money so much. He loves all of our money so much that he'll take a perfectly functional thing and break it up into parts and call them stuff like dongle, headphone dongle, headphone port dongle. How about a lightning port dongle? USB dongle? Would you like another dongle? I can make a dongle for a dongle if you want. Where is it? Come on, log in already. So there we go. That's the amount. $141.21. That money wasn't there before the last stream. That money was not there. So this all came from people who donated for me saving up for an iPad. And I'm fine with saving up for an iPad. I didn't ask for it, but you gave it to me, and I'm very, very grateful. I just don't know how to thank you for it. I really don't. And engraving is the only thing I can do, and also, of course, making videos that people ask me for. That's what I've always done on the channel. It's the only real way I can any ever thank all of you. It's just by keeping on doing it, right? Anka Tom, you're saying that's all, but I didn't have that money before. You see what I mean? You people gave that money to me. It's a lot of money. For someone like myself, the way I grew up, that is a lot of money that I did not expect. And out of the kindness of your hearts, you gave that money to me for me saving up an iPad. And I'm sure there are other people that need iPads. That's why I'm feeling guilty over this whole thing. That's like half a dongle. Actually, it's like 3 dongles here in Sweden. 3. Well, maybe 2.5 dongles. And they're expensive. If you're buying the USB 3 ones, they're very expensive over here. I think they're expensive everywhere. You already showed it on camera earlier. I did? Did I show it? Well, I promised I'd show it anyway, and if anything changes, I will show it again. I want to be absolutely transparent about these things. Let me find some music to play. Just something in the background. Ooh, something nice, something short. For the next stream, is there anything in particular you want me to do? Like next Wednesday? My voice is really starting to hurt me. We're moving. There's about 10 minutes left on this stream. Well, I love you too. I love all of you. What the hell? Oh, it's me. It's my eyes. I need glasses, everyone. I'm gonna have to get glasses. I've been trying to not get glasses, but at some point, I'm gonna have to. It's kind of okay right now, and I don't drive cars, so I'm fine with that. But I'm getting older, and I'm thinking that probably in 5 years, I am definitely gonna need some glasses, especially for reading. Let's see here. Where are you? Where's my perfect little... I had a perfect loop here. Sorry for taking up so much space. Water? No, that's water. This is a drum loop. I can't find it now. This is it this one? Yeah. There we go. I hope that's not too loud. About 3 dongles in the US. Go get a drink of water. I refuse to give in. I don't think my girlfriend is watching the stream. She didn't hear me. Definitely didn't hear me asking for water. Her boyfriend is drying out like a prune in the bedroom. When she comes in, I'm gonna sit here all shivered up. Oh, she's gonna be so angry for me, at me for doing this. Oh, Jacob, everyone's gonna think I'm a horrible person because I didn't bring you water. And I'm gonna be like, no, baby, it's okay. You know, everybody understands that you can't be like everywhere all the time. And I mean, you basically listen to me. So, baby, if you're listening to this now, afterwards, I'll play this for you. I understand that you have to listen to me every day. And now with C19 going on in the world, you're inside, locked inside with me all the time. And you have to listen to me and put up with my damned shenanigans, all of my shenanigans, all the time. It's okay that you didn't bring me water. So I hope she hears that. I am definitely gonna play that for her. No water, no tea, no nothing. Yeah, normally I have tea, I have everything. I have like, yeah, I should. I'm gonna make sure I get that next time. So if there is anything you want me to do in next stream, just let me know, and I'd be happy to oblige. Because there's been a few streams where people have asked me for stuff, and I've said like, yeah, we'll do it next stream, and then I forget about it, and I do something else. I know she stayed up so you could stream in her bedroom late. Yeah, she's absolutely cool. She's the sweetest, absolutely the sweetest. Love her with all my heart, and I'm grateful that I have a person in my life that is like her. We're both sober alcoholics and drug users. Both sober, gone through the same kind of hell. Well, I would say that she's been less of an asshole than me. Oh my God, she heard me. Thank you, baby. Oh, she brought me water. Did you just turn on the stream now? Oh, you did. Oh, so did you just hear all that shit I just said? You didn't? You did? Oh, okay. Well. I love you, honey. She heard it, everyone. I don't need to play it back, but that's good. She looked happy too, so I think I'm in the clear. We're good. I can still do some shenanigans tonight, and she'll be okay with that. Drambo, every time you ask about content, but I will wait for the big video. Yeah, Drambo is another video. I'm still working on that and still working on it, but I am gonna, like in last stream I said, I'm gonna have to cut down the scope of it because it was turning into a huge project. I am cutting down on it, like a lot, because I realized there are some specific things I want to show. I want to show the multi-output and the way that it can be used as an effect, definitely, because someone sent me a patch for a vocoder. I'm really liking Drambo. Drambo is amazing. I wish I had Drambo as a hardware unit. Seriously. Howling Wolf. I asked her for water. She gave me gas. Who asked who for water and who got gasoline? What's going on here in the chat? Factory next stream, please. Alright. So I will do a little bit of Drambo, you know. So next stream we'll do Factory, and then we'll finish up with some Drambo stuff. How about that? Okay? Does that sound like a good thing? I'll write it up for my streaming list. Factory. because that's a really good synthesizer. Any specific types of sounds or something you want to do in Factory? Just let me know. If you're new to my channel, this track you're listening to in a loop right now, you can go and check the video where I'm performing this track. This is the recording from the performance I recorded for that video, and that's a one take. It's called BAE, B-A-E. So if you search for haQ aTaQ Craft, haQ aTaQ, K-R-F-T, and then BAE, B-A-E. You'll find that performance that I'm playing right now. You'll see it happen with some edits in there, like video edits, but it's actually one take. I'm starving, gotta go to the bathroom. Uncle Tom, have you already left? There's someone else here that reacted. Ed also says, you are going to look for food in the bathroom. He left us with that? Later, Jacob, he just left us with that. He said he's gonna look for food in he's hungry, he's gonna go to the bathroom? What do you think? What do y'all think? Do you think that was a typo, or did he just troll us? I know Uncle Tom, you know, I've gotten to know the way he can, you know, sometimes do a little bit of trolling on Twitter. I think he's trolling us. I can't get Factory on iPhone. Isn't Factory available for iPhone? I thought they did. What? Didn't they? Am I so wrong? Let's see here. Audio Damage Inc. Snow Factory. Alright, so let me check here. Joey, is the only unit you have an iPhone? Is that it? Because I've been working on a few scripts for some videos that has to do with iPhones specifically. And one thing that I've been trying to look into is what DAWs actually do work really well on iPhone, because you can now get so many DAWs, everything from Zen Beats to Core Gadget to Cubase's. You can get a lot of different DAWs, multi-track DAW, there are so many. But how many of them actually work well on an iPhone? Because I mean, you've got a small screen. And when I started my channel, right before I started making my videos, I was using an iPhone 5, and I was doing a lot of stuff right on there. And I can tell you right now that I was able to edit all of my videos, make all of my music on the iPhone, and then I expanded to an iPad Mini 1, this one, used as a camera right now. But today, when I think back, what I was struggling with was, you know, a lot of the controls and the surface and stuff. iPhone only. Okay, Joey. I do have some viewers that use iPhone only. I do. And I need to make a video about that. So would that interest you? Like videos about good DAWs for iPhone, and also other apps that work really well on iPhone because of the screen size and the best synths, for instance, and like stuff like that, because I want to make those videos. I know I have a lot of those viewers, because over the years there's been so many questions about that, because that's how a lot of people start, and that's how I started. Yet I have a video on loopers and samplers. I do have that, my top 5, and that video did well on my channel because it's got a great thumbnail, a great looking clickbaity thumbnail, which it's not negative clickbait. You get exactly what you see. It's iPhones and loopers and samplers. And I chose, and the samplers and loopers I chose, they all work well on iPhone. Nano Studio 2, Beatmaker 2, Bobbin for Apples, Charlie the Butcher. Charlie the Butcher? Oh, oh, Russ, he left. I keep missing that people leave, and I don't have. I want to say goodbye, and thank you for joining up. Right, so I've already passed the time of streaming. I'm gonna round this up and say goodbye to y'all. But any comments, anything you want to say to me, you can do that in the chat. Sorry, in the comment section of the video, right beneath the video. And of course, if you're still up for some more Jakob, I will publish a new video as soon as I go off stream. I will publish it. You will find it on my main channel, and there's some special guests in it. If I can't use it while I'm break at work or the laundromat, I don't want it. Nano Studio 2 and Drambo and Groove Rider 16 are my fave iPhone apps. Oh, sounds like you already got some good apps there. The food is ready. I have to go, everyone. I'm so sorry. My girlfriend's been cooking and I didn't realize that. Right, so thank you so much for joining up. This has been Jakob haQ Live. I've been making some really bad music today, but I've also been playing you some good music. I'll see you next Wednesday, the same time. It's UTC +2 still, because it's still daylight savings over here, 2000 hours, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna do some factory stuff, some Drambo stuff, and that's gonna be it. And I am gonna be looking into doing some iPhone stuff for the iPhone people out there, because I know you exist, and I used to be one, and I'm still one. So, as usual, I wish you a... What the hell was that? Was that a... Do I have a ghost in here? As usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff, have a lot of fun doing it, and that's me. I'm just gonna find the off button, and that's about it. Bye bye, and hello Dimitri. I didn't see that you were in stream, but I see that now. Where's the off button? I need to go eat. I need to take a leak too.